Hello everyone, welcome to From the Heart. I'm Joshua.
And I'm Mary.
And we're excited to bring to you all that's new and good when it comes to the arts in Central Florida.
Today we are talking with our mayor of Orlando, Buddy Dyer. He's here to tell us of his future vision of arts here in Orlando and how we may participate. Welcome, Mayor Dyer.
Thank you, Mayor.
Welcome.
Joshua.
So glad you're here.
We have a friend. Her name is Alice Ramadan. She's creative manager at Dr. Phillips, and she watches you walk from your office to the Dr. Phillips Center. And she said, ask him how much he loves just being able to walk from his office over here to the new center. What's it like?
Well, it's not even the walking. I'm on the third floor of City Hall, so if you look at City Hall, there's a balcony there. That's the balcony outside my office. So I've been able to watch from day one when the first shovel of dirt was turned to the opening, and I've actually come over on a couple of Saturdays when they had outdoor conferences and just worked in my office and had the door open and listened to, they had the Navy band out there, like right after the opening. So sat out there, it was a beautiful day and had the doors open. So it's not as much the walking over as it's just being able to look out.
To make you feel proud?
And if it's a nice day, I can open the doors to the balcony and just have the air circulating. And
that's a
listen to
great
what's going on.
inspiration to keep your dreams going and seeing the things come to life in Orlando that you had a vision for.
It absolutely
who are
is.
some
The
people
only downside is I can look out every day and see that the round building is still not completely demolished.
Not for long, not for long.
Not for long, it'll happen. Who are some people that have inspired you, maybe even in the arts?
So well, if we want to start with the arts, you know what? I go back to so many are in high school. My high school math football coach would be somebody, but on the art side of things, we had the coolest drama teacher in the world, and I actually was a thespian in high school. I was a football, baseball player, but she inspired so many of the non-traditional arts kids, whatever that may be, to get involved in the arts. So we were involved in one-act play competition and actually went to the state finals, and we did art strips to New York. I saw more Broadway shows before I was 18 than I did between 18 and probably 30 after that. But her name is Betty Kirk, and she would, our one-act play comp team was, let's see, there were 5 guys and 3 girls, so all 3 girls were cheerleaders and 4 of the 5 guys were football players. So
do you remember
we're not your typical drama team.
No, we
at all.
would go from football practice, we'd go shower, and then we'd go to drama practice.
Hysterical.
afterwards.
Do you remember the one act that you did?
It was called TV, and it had 3 people who were the announcers, and they were down, and then the other 5 characters were in gray shirts and pants, and we were whatever was being depicted on TV, and eventually the announcers merged with what was happening on TV. So it was a cool show.
What do you think you gained from that?
It helped with fear of being in front of an audience, for sure, and being able to perform and remember your lines. That's another important
scary,
aspect.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So, you know, being in front of an audience helps you in any way, I suppose.
But was that different than being out on the football field doing plays out there?
Yeah, I think it is. Just because you're not physically exerting yourself. You have to remember your plays, but you're really reacting more, right, than actually acting, I suppose.
Yes. Very good, Mayor.
How about that? But I enjoyed both, and my one little accolade was my first year doing it, I was New Thespian of the Year. Yay. But I had Betty Kirk. Betty Kirk was the drama teacher, and she came to the groundbreaking for the Performing Arts Center, and I did, right after it opened, I did a private tour for a number of people, and she came on that, and we recently celebrated her 70th birthday down in Kissimmee.
It must make her feel so wonderful that you acknowledge her as you do. That's great.
Yeah, I spoke to one of your really great friends yesterday, Mr. Ron Legler, who has been so impactful himself on the arts community here in Orlando for years, and he said he misses you every single day and misses Orlando. But he had a question for you that he was curious about. You know, there's so many accolades to your leadership here in Orlando, the new police station, the soccer stadium, the art center. But if you could have another dream come true and the project was free, what would be the next gift?
Whoa.
If it was free, what would be the next gift you would give to Orlando?
Is Ron offering?
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe that's
That's not what I was expecting where that was going. I thought it was going to be what's your proudest accomplishment, which I have an answer for if you want to come back.
We
we'll
want to
come
hear
back to
it.
that.
Okay. You know what? At this point, it would probably be the build out of the Creative Village.
Oh, wow.
Because that's going to be an important thing for the
Tell
city
us
of
about that.
Orlando. So the area where the old Amway Arena is, when we demolished the arena, the city owns 68 acres there. So we have the UCF School of Emerging Media housed in the old expo center there. So it's kind of the foundation on the academic side of things. And we're working in the legislative session to try to get money to establish a UCF Valencia joint use facility there. So eventually we'd like to have between 10 and 12,000 students on that campus.
Wow.
But then it's going to be a cluster of emerging media or digital media companies and activities and residences and incubator space. So think of the medical city as a bioscience cluster, modeling simulation, the theme park cluster. This is going to be our digital media cluster. So if it was all free and I could just blink my eyes, because it's a project that's going to evolve over the course of 10 years or so.
So maybe Creative Village will be the thing that will launch
I
us
love
into the
that.
#1 creative city in
never
America.
know.
That would be incredible.
I mentioned to you Faith Arts Village Orlando, FAVO. Have you been out there yet?
I was there when it very first opened, but I haven't been back in a while.
Maybe you'll come back.
But I ran into somebody that's involved in that the other day, and he said that it has increased 3 or 4-fold in terms of the number of artists.
My
or
husband happens to have a
studios that are
space there, but Will Benton started, and you mentioned Donna. She's there quite often. But for those that might not know, it's an old motel, the Park Davis Motel, that got turned into each room as its own gallery and studio. I love that kind of thing happening around Orlando.
And we're almost out of time, but tell our listeners, anybody that's sitting out there and just on the edge of their seat, ready to get involved in the arts, why is it important for people to participate?
Well, I think people have to chase the dreams or be involved in things that they're passionate about. And I generally find if people are involved in the arts, they're generally passionate about the arts, and whether it's ballet or philharmonic or painting or sculpting, whatever it may be. So I think it's a way to express yourself. It's a way to collaborate. It's a way to recognize diversity in our community, and it's part of the fabric of our community.
I love how you said it improved the quality of life, because it really does. And on behalf of our entire arts community, thank you for all the hard work that you've done, standing in the gap to make sure that it's a priority here in Orlando.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
And I feel
on.
like we would be doing a disservice if we didn't say, yes, please tell us your proudest accomplishment.
Yes,
because
tell
this is
us.
our only opportunity.
You know what?
to get it.
It's simply creating the culture of collaboration and partnership that we have come to expect here in Central Florida, that we all work together for the common good and create a vision, and we all work together to build a performing arts center or an Amway Center or a Citrus Bowl or a medical city or Sunrail or any of the great things that if you don't work together, you don't get done.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Mayor Buddy Dyer.
My
Thank you
pleasure.
very,
Thank you,
very
Joshua.
much.
Thank you, Mary.
Thank you for joining Joshua and I. It has been a pleasure spending time with the City of Orlando's Mayor Dyer.
We hope you'll treat yourself to the creative offerings within our community. And if you're at an arts event and you see Mayor Buddy Dyer, tell him that Mary and Joshua say hello.
From the heart.